So we're gonna make a video today on beer brewing. One of my favorite beers lately, especially in winter, is this Fat Tuck IPA. So I went to my favorite brewing supply shop, Barley's Home Brewing. Fast Tuck IPA. It's a clone recipe of the Fat Tuck IPA, right?
Hey, don't make the video wobbly again.
Oh yeah, I will. Thanks, Ewan. I won't make the. I'll make sure I don't make the video wobbly. I'll try to keep it stable, okay? But you also be careful not to step on Jackie. Okay. IPA, as you can guess, is a hoppy beer, and it's going to require quite a few different hops. So I have them, all of them here. This is the list of hops required, and these are all the hop packages. So some of the more advanced brewing folks tend to buy these hops in batch, and then they measure them out yourself. I'm not quite there yet. I don't make the same recipe enough times that I would do that. So what I do is I go to a brewing shop, I pick out a recipe. A brewing shop close by to me in New West is called Barley's, and you can pick the recipe you want, and they will actually weigh everything out and measure everything for you, and then so they're all ready to go for you. So that's the easier way to go when you're just starting out. So the step one of the recipe, 65 degrees for 1 hour. Basically, you put all these different grains that your brewing shop have already mixed together for you, and then you put it in a hop bag like this. Sorry, not a hop bag, but a grain bag, so that it's easy to pull it back out when you're done. So you leave it in there for in 65 degrees Celsius for 1 hour. That's the step 1, 5 degrees Celsius. So I think it's perfect right now. And then I'm gonna put all these grain into the hot bag, and then I'm gonna put it into the water. Hey, Ewan. Pull the plastic out right before on top of the water so that you don't make a mess. That's the whole idea of it. Some recipe is going to be half an hour at 70 degrees. This particular one is 65 degrees for 1 hour. So the only job in the next hour is to make sure that the temperature stays around 65 degrees, so I can tell. Cover it a little bit, keep the heat in there. And then we just set a timer for an hour. I've mentioned earlier we are doing extract brewing. We're not doing a full grain brewing. Full grain brewing means you create, you brew your whole beer completely from the wheat. But because of time, I tend to usually just do what's called extract brewing. Extract brewing means you're using these syrup stuff instead of making that yourself. Golden Light LME. The difference is a little bit like when you're making pizza, you're buying the crust from the store instead of making the crust yourself. So it's time's up, and that means it's time to get the stuff out. So idea to just drain as much as you can within a reasonable time, but you don't want to wait forever for it to drain, right? So what you do is you can put it in a strainer like this and leave it and wait. Oh, you need to boil the hops for an hour. And the next day, so it needs to be at close to 100 degrees. Come out now. Just gonna leave it to drain for the rest of the bowl, and add it back in towards the end, last 10 minutes kind of. And now I just add a little bit of water and then boiling it back up. I tend to just stick to the hop pilot. There are a million different ways to do the same thing. People do all kind of different things with brewing, so there's really no right way to do it. It's just whatever way is right for you. I just stick to dry pilot. So there's 60 minutes, 30 minutes, so that means you wait 30 minutes before you put it in, and then this goes in right before the end at 10 minutes, and this is going in at 5 minutes. And then there's something called a frame out. So after you turn off the frame, that's where you put this one in. And there's also these dry hopping pellets. That's basically go in 5 days after fermentation. Out ready looks like it's really boiling properly now. It prevents the hot particles to fall out. So it's going in. So I think I got most of the syrup in there now. Not all of it, but I think it's close enough that I can call it. So we have half an hour on this boil now so far, so it's ready for the second hops. The 30 minutes hop is going in. The Centennial 30 minutes going in now. And then we're ready for the 10 minutes one in 20 minutes. Okay, 30 minutes hops is now in. Next one is 10 minutes, 5 minutes, and then flame out. Okay, so the 60-minute boils is now over, and according to the recipe, I put in all the different hops according to the time that's required to be in. So I turn off the stove, and now I'm moving on to the cooling stage. So the idea of it is the quicker you can cool the worts down at this point, the less likely we'll have a contamination. So we try putting all the ice and ice pack in the water bath to cool down the pot as quick as possible. Because we were doing a concentrated boil, I was able to put some cold water straight into the water. Look at the yeast pack. It will tell you exactly what temperature it operates in. It says needs to be at a range of 12 to 25 degrees Celsius. It's around 25 degrees. But not to forget, this is a 5-gallon kettle. So we only have it about 4.5 gallons, and we're going to top it up to 6 gallons with cold water. So by the time we're done, we're going to be close to the 20-degree yeast. Put the yeast into the water. I'm going to sanitize the package right now with the sanitizer just to be safe. The beer brewing process that I learned over time is that there are a million different ways to do the same things. So this is the yeast when you open it. It looks like. And we'll put that into the. So I sanitized the cup and the spoon ahead of time as well, just so you know. And I'll put it into the cup. Just now, with my clean hands, I basically spray sanitizers on it as much as I can. I have got the hop back out and I squeeze it out as much as I could. The worts that was left in the hop bag, squeeze out as much as I could with my clean sanitized hand. I do my best not to make a mess, but I'm probably gonna make a mess. The trick is to pour it really fast. I'm going to leave all the crap at the bottom. I'll pour it into. Because otherwise you can't get an accurate gravity reading beforehand. Refractometer. It's a pretty cool device. You don't have to have one of these. I think there's like about $30 I got from Amazon. But it just makes it a little bit easier to do. So basically you get a little sample of this, the worts, You have to make sure that you sanitize anything you touch the water at this point, and you make a drop in here, and you get a reading out of that. Actually, after mixing it one more time, I was able to get 1.062. So 1.071 what the recipe called for, but it's a lot closer. I keep mixing it over time. I'll be able to get closer to 1.7, but I'm not gonna bother. Until now, all you got is just really just sugar water in the wort. But as soon as you put the yeast into the wort, legally you have beer. I'm gonna pitch the yeast into the wort now. So officially we have beer. Okay. Including the spoon and the cup and the bottom of the cup, in case something touches the bottom of the cup before dripping back in. It's gonna take 2 weeks for it to ferment, and after that we'll have beer that is not carbonated, and then we need to carbonate it somehow.